What's the address of your emergency?
I am at the end of Route M of 151, and there's a woman laying on the ground in front of a car. I don't know what the hell's going on here.
On April 28th, 2018, I got up about 2 o'clock. I saw police car lights in the window. They told me that Molly had died, and they asked me if I knew who she was. I just assumed it was someone that maybe Jim.
The April dusk settled over Monroe County, Missouri on April 27th, 2018, painting the rolling hills in hues of amber and gray. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and blooming dogwoods. A quiet evening in the rural town of Paris, population 1,200. Melanie Addie, 54, pulled her Subaru into the driveway of her ranch-style home on County Road 216. Her teacher's assistant badge still clipped to her sweater. Her hands trembled as she gripped the steering wheel, her mind replaying the fight with her husband, James Addie, 56, a corrections officer at Moberly Correctional Center. After 23 years of marriage, 2 kids, Emma, 22, and Ben, 18, and a life built on trust, she'd found something that shattered her world. Photos of James with another woman, Molly Watson, 35, taken at Disney World. He'd lied about that trip, saying it was for work. Now, Melanie knew the truth. He was cheating. Melanie and James's marriage had been a small-town love story. They'd met in 1994 at a bowling alley in Hannibal, her shy smile catching his eye as he tossed a strike. He was 32, rugged, with a steady job. She was 30, warm, dedicated to her students. They married in 1995, raised Emma and Ben in a home filled with Friday pizza nights and Cardinals games on the radio. But lately, James had changed. Late shifts stretched into unexplained absences, his phone locked with a new passcode. Melanie had chalked it up to stress, trusting his excuses. Tonight, she'd confront him, clutching the Disney photos she'd found in the garage loft, her heart pounding with dread. In her purse was a silver locket, a gift for their anniversary, now a bitter reminder of his betrayal. The house was dark as Melanie stepped inside, the hum of the fridge the only sound. James's truck wasn't in the driveway, odd for a Friday when he usually gets off at 3 p.m. The living room smelled of his cologne, sharp and unfamiliar, not the Old Spice he'd worn for years. A glass of bourbon sat on the coffee table, half empty, beside a crumpled receipt from a jewelry store in Columbia. Melanie's breath caught. Had he bought something for her? Her eyes fell on a post-it note stuck to the fridge. Back late. Meeting a buddy. Her gut twisted. She dialed his cell, but it went to voicemail. "James, we need to talk," she said, her voice shaking. "I know about her." At 9:17 p.m., 30 miles away, a hunter's flashlight swept across a gravel road near Middle Grove, illuminating a horrific sight. A woman's body, face down in the dirt, a bullet wound in her head. Molly Watson, dressed in a white blouse and jeans, lay lifeless, her engagement ring glinting in the beam. The hunter called 911, his voice frantic. "She's dead. There's blood everywhere." Within hours, Monroe County Sheriff's deputies swarmed the scene, their radios crackling. Molly, a clerical worker, was identified by her driver's license, found in a purse nearby. Her car, a silver Honda, was parked a mile away, keys missing. The sheriff's office contacted James Addie, her fiancé, listed as her emergency contact. His phone was off. Back in Paris, Melanie sat on the couch, the Disney photos spread before her. Her phone buzzed at 11:03 p.m., a text from her daughter Emma at college in St. Louis. "Mom, you okay?" "Dad's not answering." Melanie's fingers hovered over the reply, fear gnawing at her. She didn't know Molly was dead, didn't know her world was about to collapse. At midnight, headlights swept the driveway. James burst in, his uniform rumpled, eyes wild. "Mel, I messed up," he said, his voice hoarse. "I was with someone tonight, a woman, but something's wrong. I saw something out there like a ghost near Middle Grove. I swear it wasn't human." Melanie's blood ran cold. "A ghost?" she snapped, tossing the photos at him. "Or your mistress? Who is she, James?" James's face hardened, his alibi crumbling. "Her name's Molly Watson. We're engaged. I told her you were my ex, that you died in a car accident." Melanie's knees buckled, her voice a whisper. "Died? You told her I was dead?" She grabbed the locket, hurling it at him. 23 years, 2 kids, and you erase me for her?" James stepped closer, his hands raised. "I was going to tell you, I swear. But tonight, I went to meet her, and I saw this figure, like a shadow, watching us. I panicked, left her there." Melanie's eyes narrowed. "Left her where, James? What did you do?" His silence was a confession, the air thick with unspoken horror. Melanie grabbed her phone, dialing 911. "My husband's lying about an affair. He's talking about a ghost and a woman named Molly. I think something's happened." Deputies arrived at 1:47 a.m., their flashlights cutting through the dark. James repeated his story. A ghostly figure near Middle Grove, Molly left alive when he drove off. But his truck's GPS placed him at the crime scene at 8:45 p.m., and gunshot residue was found on his hands. By dawn, he was in cuffs, charged with first-degree murder. Melanie, trembling, gave her statement to Deputy Sarah Klein, her voice raw. "He said I was dead. Now Molly is. Who's covering up what?" The investigation exploded into a true crime saga, gripping Missouri and beyond. James Addie's double life unraveled in chilling detail. For 4 years, he'd courted Molly, a co-worker's friend, while married to Melanie. He'd proposed to her in 2017, planning a wedding for April 29, 2018, 2 days after her murder. To Molly, Melanie was a tragic ex-wife, killed in a 2014 crash. James spun the lie with ease, showing Molly a fake obituary, even crying at a staged memorial. He kept separate phones, one for each life, and used work trips to juggle his women. Melanie, unaware, thought his late hours were overtime. "He was home by 5 most days," she told 2020. "I never suspected."
I was married to James Addie for 23 years, and we have 2 kids together. On the outside, we looked like the normal, average family. James was definitely living a double life. Jim could be threatening and controlling. If I was 30 minutes late, he would question me about that. When I was married to Jim, I didn't see red flags. I thought Jim was just kind of an odd guy. He could lie about little things and big things. He would lie about taking money out of my purse. Jim told us he had been raised in Wyoming. Turns out that was a lie.
What's the address of your emergency?
I am at the end of Route M of 151, and there's a woman laying on the ground in front of a car. I don't know what the hell's going on here.
On April 28th, 2018, I got up about 2 o'clock. I saw police car lights in the window. They told me that Molly had died, and they asked me if I knew who she was. I just assumed it was someone that maybe Jim worked with. The police told me Jim and Molly were supposed to get married. They had been seeing each other for 7 years. I was completely shocked. 4 or 5 days after I found out, I filed for divorce.
Forensic evidence sealed James's fate. Molly's body, found with a .22 caliber bullet in her skull, matched a rifle in James's truck. Tire tracks at the scene linked to his Ford F-150. A gas station receipt placed him near Middle Grove at 8:30 p.m., contradicting his ghost story. Most damning was Molly's phone, recovered from a ditch, with texts to James. "Can't wait to be Mrs. Addie. Meet me at 8? His reply, "On my way, babe." But a deleted message, recovered by Tex, read, "She knows about us. We need to talk." Detectives theorized Molly had learned Melanie was alive, confronting James, who killed her to protect his lies. The trial, in June 2021, was a media circus. The Monroe County Courthouse overflowed with reporters, locals, and true crime podcasters. Prosecutors painted James as a calculating liar, driven by fear of exposure. "Molly Watson was going to ruin his perfect facade," said DA Tally Smith. "So he shot her and spun a ghost story to cover it up." The defense claimed James was framed, pointing to a shadowy figure reported by a farmer near the crime scene. But no prints or DNA supported this, and James's alibi fell apart under cross-examination. Melanie testified, her voice steady, eyes locked on James. "He told her I was dead. He lived 2 lives, and when one threatened the other, he killed her." The jury deliberated 3 hours, convicting James of first-degree murder and armed criminal action. He was sentenced to life without parole. Melanie's world shattered anew. Emma and Ben, devastated, cut contact with their father. The town whispered. Some pitied Melanie, others blamed her for not seeing the signs. How could she miss it? Posts flooded X with hashtags like Dawn Addie Affair and Your Ghost Alibi trending. Melanie faced the cameras outside court, her voice firm. "I loved him, I trusted him, he betrayed us all." She moved to Hannibal, working as a librarian, her nights haunted by James's lies. "It's like living with a ghost," she told a local paper, echoing the case's eerie motif. Marcus Carter, a fictional firefighter and Melanie's brother, enters as a narrative bridge. In 2018, Marcus was 50, a captain at Paris Fire Station who'd noticed James's odd behavior, new cologne, secretive calls. He'd urged Melanie to snoop, but she'd brushed it off, trusting James. When Molly's body was found, Marcus was on duty, hearing the call over the scanner. He raced to Melanie's, finding her in shock after James's arrest. During the trial, Marcus sat beside her, his firefighters calm, masking rage. Post-verdict, he confronted James at Moberly Prison, the visiting room cold, the glass between them a barrier. "You killed her to hide your lies," Marcus said, his voice low. "Why drag Mel through it?" James's eyes were empty. "I didn't mean for any of this. The ghost, it was real." Marcus walked away, the lie a final betrayal. The investigation's depth fueled its true crime allure. Sheriff's deputies used GPS data, phone records, and ballistics to dismantle James's story. A neighbor's ring camera caught his truck leaving at 7:50 p.m., heading toward Middle Grove. Molly's best friend, Tara, testified about her excitement for the wedding, unaware that James was married. "She loved him," Tara said, tears falling. "She thought Melanie was dead." The ghost claim, prosecutors argued, was a desperate ploy, inspired by local folklore about a Middle Grove apparition. No witnesses corroborated it, and James's calm demeanor during questioning, no panic, no grief, betrayed his guilt. "He wasn't scared of a ghost," Klein told jurors. "He was scared of getting caught." The case's ripples reshaped Paris. Melanie's church raised funds for her move, but gossip lingered. She should have known. Molly's family, grieving in private, placed a cross at the crime scene where flowers still appear. Missouri tightened identity theft laws, citing James's forged documents. The real Terry Szymanski's family, from a related case, sent Melanie a letter of solidarity, their own pain mirrored. The story inspired a 2020 episode, The Fiancée's Secret, with clips of James's interrogation, his ghost story faltering under Klein's questions.
After the police came and spoke with your husband that night and left, did you start looking around the house?
The next day, yes.
Why is that?
I just wanted to see if there was anything else that I could find.
Did you find something?
I did, in the garage.
Is that the same garage that maroon car was parked in?
Yes.
As far as time spent in the garage, did you spend a lot of time in the garage?
No, not really.
Did Mr. Addie spend a lot of time in the garage?
Yes.
So you found something in the garage. Where in the garage did you find it?
We called it the loft. It's above where the cars would have been if they were in the garage. It was a storage space.
How would you get into the loft?
There are stairs.
So you would pull down the stairs out of the ceiling? Is that what I'm envisioning?
Yes.
Did you go up there into the loft area very often?
Not very often.
And what was in that loft area?
I found some boxes of things that had belonged to Molly. I found a locked chest that when I opened it had a photo album.
I'd like to approach defense counsel with what's been marked State's Exhibit 158, already admitted.
You may.
I'm showing you what's been marked State's Exhibit 158. Is that the photo album that you're describing?
Yes.
Permission to republish.
You may.
Before you found it in that locked case, had you ever seen this photo album before?
No.
It looks like from the front of it, it's stamped with Orlando on there. Were you aware of your husband going on a trip to Florida?
Yes.
And what did he tell you about that trip to Florida?
He said it was a training trip for work.
What was his work at that time?
He worked at Moberly Correctional Center.
When you say training trips, did he give you any more specifics about what kind of training he was receiving in Florida?
Specifically sniper training.
Flashbacks painted James's deception. In 2014, he met Molly at a prison staff picnic, her laugh drawing him in. By 2016, he was living two lives: dinners with Melanie, weekends with Molly. He used burner phones, fake emails, and cash for hotels, draining $12,000 from a joint account Melanie thought was for car repairs. Molly, trusting, planned their wedding, unaware of Melanie's existence. Melanie's discovery of the photos, days before the murder, was a fluke. She'd climbed into the loft for Christmas decorations, finding a box labeled "Work." Inside were pictures, love letters, and a ring receipt. I kept asking, "How did I miss this?" she told 2020. "I wasn't supposed to see it." By 2020, Marcus opened Melanie's Light, a community center in Hannibal, offering support for betrayed spouses. He signed the lease with a steady hand, memories of Melanie's strength driving him. At the opening, he faced a crowd, firefighters, locals, and survivors. His voice shook, but he held firm. "My sister trusted a man who lived a lie, who killed to keep it. Molly paid the price, but Melanie's still standing. This place is for anyone broken by deceit. You're not their lies. You're more." The silence was healing, eyes reflecting shared wounds. Marcus continued, "Who's covering up? Sometimes it's the one you love most. But truth breaks through. A photo, a receipt, A moment you can't unsee. Heal for you, not them. The applause was warm, grounding. Melanie, in the back, wiped tears, her librarian's badge catching the light. Outside, Hannibal's streets bustled. Kids on scooters, the Mississippi River glinting. But the Addie case lingered, a warning. James in prison, wrote Melanie, claiming innocence, blaming the ghost. She burned the letters, her trust ashes. Molly's cross stood sentinel, a reminder of love's cost. The photos, the alibi, the murder, each piece exposed a man who'd rather kill than face his truth. This story, rooted in the James Addie case, is a chilling reminder of love's dark edges. Melanie's survival, Marcus's mission, and the question, who's covering up, echo beyond Missouri. If this gripped you, if you faced a lie that changed everything, like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Healing starts with us, turning pain into purpose. Thank you for watching. May you find truth in the shadows.